All right, so in today's activity, we're going to be graphing ellipses. And just like when we graph circles, we're going to graph a couple that aren't centered at 0, 0. But a bulk of the work is going to stay the same. So the standard form of our equation is x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared equals 1. And so we'll start off the same kind of way that the a and the b are our radius in the x and the y direction. So our radius in the x direction is 5. The radius in our y direction is 7. We just need to be able to find the center. And kind of like how we did it with circles, it's just the opposite of whatever number we're adding and subtracting. So our center is at -1, 0. So I'll go ahead and plot the point -1, 0. And then if I go left and right 5 units, because that's the radius in our x direction, and then cut up this part with the messed up eraser. And then I'll go up and down 7, because that's the radius in the y direction. And there we go. That's our ellipse. Not a perfect drawing, but it gets the job done. Now, I know the question isn't asking us to do this, but I'd still like us to be able to find the focal points, which again are given by the equation c squared equals a squared minus b squared. A squared and b squared come to the equation, so it's 49 minus 25. So c squared is equal to 24. And then you just got to take the square root of both sides. So c is the square root of 24, which is approximately 4.9. So the focal points always lay on the major axis, so I need to go up and down 4.9 from our center. And that's where those 2 points will be. So it's a little bit under 5, so we'll do our best approximation, but that's where our 2 focal points are. And now let's label everything. We have our center, we've got a focus, and remember the difference between our co-vertices and vertices. Co-vertices are at the end of the major axis, vertices are at the end of the minor axis. All right, and now for this second example. Our center is at -1, -2. So that'll be the first point I plot. Now our radius in the x direction is the square root of 4, which is 2. So from our center, I'm going to go left and right 2. Now, our y squared term doesn't have a denominator. We can write that as 1, and the square root of 1 is 1, so the radius in the y direction is 1. So we'll draw the ellipse. There we go. But again, I'd also like us to be able to find the focal points, and we'll use the equation c squared equals a squared minus b squared. A squared and b squared each coming from the equation, so it's 4 minus 1. So c is equal to the square root of 3. And they'll lay along the horizontal axis. It's going to be approximately 1.75. So since it's laid out horizontally, I need to go left and right 1.75, and that's where the focal points are.